What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about GTA 6 yet again. And, I'll say this. It's a more positive story than what we've talked about so far. I have two different channels that I upload to daily. I actually have three in all. But the three other videos that I've made today have been layoffs, layoffs, layoffs. All negative news. I want to do something a bit more positive. There is some positivity here because I do want to talk about when this game could come out and if the news that we're about to read, or I guess the reporting that we're about to read, if it means something in terms of when the game releases, okay? So that's one part of it. However, not everything can be sunshine and rainbows, and honestly, there is some negativity to look at with this reporting as well, considering in the report, it says that employees are not happy or not thrilled with what's going on. So even though I want to make a positive video, there's still going to be some seeds of negativity there. I'm sorry. It's the way the day goes. I don't control these things. Okay, so let's read this thing out. It comes from our good old friend, and that's very much sarcasm, Jason Schreier of Bloomberg. I believe it was paywalled, but people at Reddit did some God's work and put it out there kind of free of charge. So what we have is Rockstar Games will ask employees to return to the office 5 days a week beginning in April as the video game maker enters the final stages of development on its next game, GTA 6. In an email to staff on Wednesday, reviewed by Bloomberg, Rockstar head of publishing said the decision was made for productivity and security reasons. The company had faced several security breaches, including a massive dump of early footage from the new GTA game and an early trailer that leaked in December. They also wrote that the company also found tangible benefits from in-person work. Making these changes now puts us in the best position to deliver the next Grand Theft Auto at the level of quality and polish we know it requires, along with publishing roadmap that matches the scale and ambition of the game, she wrote. So, quite a few things to go through there, right? Number one, let's do the more positive side first. You know what? Let's do that, and then we'll focus more on the negative. So, in terms of the positive side, when could the game come out? This absolutely could be a sign that it's coming out sooner rather than later. Now, we know it's 2025. I actually don't believe, right, it could come out before based off their kind of financial reports and whatnot. So this is a 2025 game pretty much no matter what. I suppose things could change, and I guess we'd probably find that out in either March or June, right? So like every quarter we'll get kind of an updated look. As these quarters go, we'll start to get more info, and I assume by June, we'll probably roughly know if it's a first half of next year game or second half. That's kind of my own prediction, right? But there's 2025 just in general. I am in the camp that believes it's fall 2025. Now, I'm also in the camp, and I think you can think both these things. I'm in the camp that believes, or believed, that GTA 6 was supposed to come out, or they wanted it to come out this fall of 2024. And instead of doing the normal Rockstar thing where they just delay their game, right? They said, it's going to be 2025. They don't have to worry about delaying it because 2025, whole year, right? So that's how I view it. I view it that they wanted it this fall, but they delayed it. And I guess my interpretation of it is they delayed it to next fall so that there's no way you can delay it past. Okay, I shouldn't really say that. That's probably jinxing it, right? But it's very unlikely you would delay it past next fall. So just put it at next fall as like a placeholder thing and be good. Now, one flaw with that is it doesn't have to be next fall. It could literally be the first half, maybe like a March, April, May thing of next year. That absolutely could happen. Again, my reasoning is just if you say March, April, May, it could very easily still be pushed, just an extra 6 months. Give it that extra time to polish and come out in the fall. Now, using this new reporting here, the thing that's tough is like this final stretch of development could mean, well, number one, it actually does mean. It means something different depending on what company you're looking at, right? And I feel like it kind of scales, but I don't know that for sure. So I guess what I'm saying, like when you say it's entered like the final stretch, the final, little thing of production, I mean, the game could come out like 6, 7, 8, 9 months after that. It could come out 4 months after that. It could come out a year after that. I feel it kind of depends on the size. If this was a more indie type thing, or maybe even like a AA kind of thing, if you saw that, you'd say, okay, this fall is looking real good because it's in the final stretch. But for something as massive as this, and you do want it, and I haven't really ever thought negatively about this, but like you don't want it to be like a buggy disaster day one. Yes, there's a lot of games that are buggy disasters day one. I really don't think GTA would be one of them, but it's very common. It's very common. So you have to make sure you get it right. It is on a scale beyond almost any other, maybe even every other game that's out. You know what I mean? It's so much bigger. Not necessarily better. Maybe it is, but maybe it's not. But it's bigger. It's on a different scale. So you need to get it right, and you need that extra time. So the final stretch, it's leading people to say, well, could this be like an April, May, like a first half of next year kind of thing? It could. The final stretch could be 1 year. It could be a year and a half. It's literally just the distance or the separation, of 6 months there, being added or subtracted. So does it give us anything? Not necessarily. I mean, I think for sure it further, like it's for sure 2025, right? Because you don't do something like this and release the game 2 years later. I don't think the final stretch of development is for another 2 years and you're going into, 2026, okay? I definitely don't think that. So the reporting, I think, or I guess, does get us that for sure it's soon, but what does soon actually mean? That's the little, part that we don't know. All right, then the negativity part. So, all right, one thing I'm gonna say, just to kind of get out of the way, I mean, I don't work these jobs, so I factually do not know, so I'm not gonna pretend to know. I don't know if it's more beneficial to be in the off, because that's like the big thing here in terms of the controversy. There's employees very upset about it. There's commenters, online that are, I don't want to say 50-50, but I think there's two very strong camps of what does it matter? Does it matter? And then, being like, okay, this is a terrible idea. I've seen a lot of people say that this is something that companies will do to like find out the weak threads, let's say, to eliminate them. That would be pretty, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it at all. You're basically telling people that can't do that, well, you might want to like turn it in, or we'll just like turn it in for you, right? Like you'll be done. I would not doubt that at all. It feels like something companies would do as kind of like a low blow, a way of getting rid of people without actually getting rid of people. Because you're not necessarily doing it, but you're imposing something where it's like, well, if they can't do it, you have a choice. You can either let them keep doing what they're doing or say, well, we gave you the reasons why we can't do that, so you're just done. So I could see that happening. And again, like I don't want to pretend like I know everything. I'm not in the same situation. My own opinion, I think factually it is better to be around people in a creative space, okay? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do it in distancing and, being a work from home. I think there's a lot of benefits from working from home, okay? But at the same time, I do understand, or I can't imagine, when you're having all these meetings, or just the simple idea of walking down the hallway to somebody's desk and just talking to them about an idea, walking back and keeping, keep going. I imagine that is easier, and it just kind of breeds this more productive or creative environment than doing it all separate. Again, like there's pros to that. There's also cons to that. I would see it as a positive. However, the way that the industry has been, right? You hire these people 3, 4, 5 years ago, you promise them that they can work from home. And then now you're, and they could live half a country away. And then, you impose these rules and now they have to move to you, all while the industry is collapsing. And when GTA 6 does launch, you don't know. Do they fire 20% of their staff, 30%, 10%? You don't know. So I absolutely get, like, trust me, I'm trying to see kind of both sides here. I absolutely get the negatives because it's a risky business to actually move, all over the place for these jobs. It's an incredibly risky idea, considering what we've seen in the industry. But I do see the positives of it. And I'll say one other kind of positive that I'm thinking of, and they actually mentioned, you could say excuses, right? Because they kind of came up with reasonings of why people had to go. I will say this, the security breach thing definitely sounds like it has some like merit to it, to be honest with you. Now, whose fault it is up to, I guess, us or them, actually. It's probably more up to them to figure out. But to be fair and honest, what they've experienced in the last year has been pretty rough. You don't want that happening in this next year, right? This is the home stretch. You do not want anything severe happening to this. I mean, we saw The Last of Us Part 2, right? We've seen a few games we've seen Wolverine be completely leaked out there. What would happen on this earth of God, if GTA 6 were to be like the source code or even like a Wolverine style kind of thing? What would happen? It would be scorched earth. I mean, I can't even imagine what the internet would be like and what their lives would be like if something like that happened, okay? It would be severe and it would be really, really bad. The sad truth to it is there is a lot of truth to that, right? So it's like if that is like their primary reason, where it's like, hey, We just want you here so we can kind of make sure nothing gets out. And it's maybe not even your fault. Maybe your son like takes a video of your laptop at home and it's like, we can't have that. Okay, we're in the final stretch. We can't do it. So like, I do get that. In fact, I probably get that more than any other reason you could come up with, right? But it is tough. Like, I do understand the negatives of it as well. But there you go. I think that's it. Not too negative, right? More, I think a little bit more positive than negative. But you let me know. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.